Alright, so now I want to get a precise measurement of my laces. So what I'm doing is use the could use the edge of the workbench or any flat surface, and I'm bringing the end of the boot lace up here. I'm bringing that flush with the end of the way. Keep it. Now I want to put just enough tension on this. I'll put just enough tension on this so that it straightens out without actually stretching it very much. And what I'm going to do is right in the area where the this end of the lace is, move the lace out of the way. I'm going to put a piece of painter's tape. Okay. I'm going to grab my pencil. All right. Hopefully that's somewhat in focus. This camera has trouble focusing on these kind of situations. So now I'm going to bring the lace back up onto the tape, and again, pulling it just enough to keep it straight. I'm going to make a mark on the tape. And now a long steel rule, like a metal yardstick, is perfect for this. But I did get one of those when I was cleaning out that place. I don't know where it is right now, so I'll just use a tape measure. Yeah, it looks like that last shot was completely out of focus, but basically just, made a mark on the tape. So now I can take my tape measure, and because I put the end of the lace there at the end of the way, I can just hook my tape measure right on there and come right over, and I'm going to get the camera so you can see this. Alright, so you can see that that mark pretty much lines up with 29 inches almost on the dot. So 29-inch belt is what I want. So I'm going to need two 29s for these two pulleys in the compound drive. This one and this one. And then now I got to measure that other one. Same principle. Very interesting. So the mark on the right is the new mark. I moved the tape over because this is a longer belt. I knew that. But what's interesting to me is it's just a hair under 30. If I had stretched that lace just a little bit more, it would have been 30 inches on the dot. Now I tried the 30-inch belt that I already have. Right? Was that a 30 that I tried? Anyways, that didn't work. It was too tight. But I had readjusted these adjustments. So I think what I got to do, I would be neglectful if I didn't go and grab that 30-inch belt that I haven't returned to the store yet and try it again on here now that I have this set up this way. You know, guys, I don't, when I make a mistake, I show you my mistakes. And here's a perfect example of how I just wasted a bunch of time, because I was just about to go get that 30-inch belt, and I thought to myself, that is so weird that now it seems like a 30-inch belt would fit there. And then it occurred to me, please don't tell me I forgot to put the tensioner on. That's exactly what I did. Did anybody out there notice the lever's position? Okay, so that right there is the on position. I just measured all of those in this position. All of my measurements are wrong. Now, if both pulleys, the upper and lower pulley that the belt runs on, were exactly the same size, what I could do is I could actually measure the centerline distance, or the distance from the two pulleys, and then measure it again with this on to see how much longer that gets. Take that measurement double it because the belt on this side and the belt on that side, so I have to double it and add that dimension to the dimensions already calculated. And that would be satisfactory, except for one problem. The pulleys are a different size, so what happens is this belt's not coming straight down to here. This belt is turning in like that, so you've got some, the geometry is going to cause that dimension to not be exactly that. Might be close, but you know what? I'm just going to do it the right way. Do it again. Not going to take me that long to do. Tell you what I'm questioning now. I'm questioning now whether or not I'm supposed to have this in this position for run or this position for run. There's a change right there of probably about a ½ an inch. So, in other words, there's a definite feel to this where it almost feels like there's a cam point right there, and then there's another point back here. Now, if I have it in this position, and if I put tension down on this, it doesn't want to come forward unless I pull it forward a little bit, and then it will. This handle will go all the way down here and hit the chuck if you go down too far. But I'm thinking if you don't go down too far, that would be acceptable. So here's my theory now. My theory now is this position full forward, full slack is for changing the belt on this 3-sheave pulley over here to the different speed settings. And that this position right here is in fact almost like a neutral, that the belts are designed to slip at that setting. And that this is the drive position, everything running. So my theory is that the idea being that, you know, if you want to put the lathe in neutral, so to speak, you could put it here and then risk your life and limb by sticking your hands anywhere near this. And then this is for just changing. So that's what I think. And I just don't know. But I don't know if I ever put it down to that position before when I had the other belt on there. Alright, so I made the measurements like this. I got 29 inches for this one here. Well, if it's 29 here, that's obviously going to be longer. That might be 30 inches right there, which is the belt that I had. But again, I changed these settings here. And that, again, now I'm thinking that might just be slack. This might even be even more. So I got to throw the 29 on there, the 30 on there and see what happens. Remember, the 30 was running but loose the other day. And I'm wondering whether or not I did this. Good thing I haven't oiled these spindles yet. I'd be getting oil all over these belts. Less ingenious design of this. Alright. So again, this position is full slack. I'm going to call that position. I'm lifting the spindle out. I've got to put the caps on. All right, see what we got here. Belt is slack. Right. That's position 1 there. That's tight as hell. That's tight as hell. If I had another one on here right now, this part of the drive would actually be turning this. So if I wanted to, I can't even go back to that other setting if I wanted to. That feels like a pretty positive stock right there. Matter of fact, that's so tight that I'm probably going to have to actually loosen this a little bit to compensate for that. So now the question is, would I be better with a 31-inch belt and push that all the way back? This is giving me a headache. Here's what I decided. I decided I'm going to set it up so that this is the run position and this is the slack position, which would be neutral for changing the belts or whatever. I'm going to shut the motor off every time I'm doing this. I ain't losing my fingers. So I'm going to forget about the fact that this thing swings all the way back down to here if I wanted it to. Because the other thing is, it's not really practical when this handle is, when this ball's way back here, you're reaching kind of behind the chuck. Of course, again, the machine should be off when you're doing that. You're not going to be disengaging it when this is spinning. Unless you get a death wish. Or, at the very least, don't feel like keeping your right hand and arm. So, I'm going to go with that, which means 30s are what I want here on these two. But I want to make an adjustment here because this is actually a little too tight for my taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust these to compensate and get these exactly where I want them, and then take my measurement with my cord on this pulley to figure out where we are. It's amazing. These are coarse threads on here, so it doesn't take too much, you know, 1 or 2 revolutions of this screw. I'm moving that down. You can actually see because of the lock nut there. I'm moving this down maybe a 32nd of an inch. But a 32nd of an inch movement of this shaft downward would correspond to, you double that, that's a 16th of an inch in length difference that this belt would, I don't know, forget what I'm saying. If you understand me, great. If not, don't worry about it. I don't understand what I'm saying half the time. Now that I can see what a small amount of adjustment now the small amount of adjustment here makes a pretty big difference on the tension. I'm getting a little pickier about making sure that these are pretty much even, so I've actually just checked, and I've got those both set the same. I'm taking a slightly different approach on this last measurement because it's kind of hard because it's just kind of a pain to get it in with bracketed to get my tape and everything on there. I took the belt, one of these original belts that was on here, and I cut it. Cuts nice and easily and cleanly with for cutters like this. These are tubing cutters. But this belt was already spliced by somebody. They did a good job of splicing it. You know, they cut it at an angle and they pinned it. But it's got quite a bit of oil on it. I'm not worried about trashing it, so I cut it. And straight for the long back here. And bring it up, pull it pretty tight, and now I'm going to take a measurement. Alright, so now I'll measure this belt and I'll add this dimension to it. Now I actually did do the cord method with tape. I just didn't like how it was sitting on the pulley, so I didn't think it was going to be accurate. But just for the heck of it, I taped down the belt and I put the cord next to it, and actually I was kind of close, because if I take this caliper and I put it on the end here, you can see I was in the ballpark. But let's get a more exact measurement. Alright, where that pencil mark is, that's 31 3/8 of an inch. But the belt wasn't under tension, so I'm going to go with the 31-inch belt there. Alright, so I got one more belt I need to figure out, and that's going to be the one that runs from the motor up to the main drive here. Alright, I've temporarily mounted the motor just with one bolt here loose so it doesn't fall off on me. And slid it pretty much all the way forward. That way, if the belt ends up being a little loose when it comes in, I'll be able to slide this back a little bit to make some adjustment. Although the reality is the belt tension is actually adjusted by loosening this bolt here and the corresponding bolt on the other side. And what that allows is this whole motor bracket to tilt down or up as necessary. So you've got a certain amount of play there. So it looks like I've got more play to go this way, which would be to drop this down and tighten it even more. So I don't really have to worry too much about that position there. I do want to make sure my alignment's good, so I'm going to come over a little bit. And now I just got to figure out the, I have this engaged, so now I've got to figure out the size of the belt that's going to go around here. Okay, so on this one, to make my life a little easier, I took the cut V-belt and I stuck it in the groove of this pulley and taped it in there. And so that's acting as a filler, and that's holding up the cord that I wrapped around there, so I don't have to tape the cord all the way around this wheel. And then I taped it here to start, wrapped it over to here at the end of it, and up around the pulley, back down, and I can just kind of hold it, so make sure the end is where I think it is, yep. And, forgot my cutters. You can see this is really slack, so I want to take some tension up just a little bit. Hold it right there. That should do it. Now this one's so long that I can't actually use the lathe bed like I did before. So this one I just put the tape measure right on the bench, locked it, and put my finger on the end here, holding this end right on there, and pulled it just taut. And I come up with 42 inches appears to be the winning number, because 41 is going to be too small. At 43, I can reach 43, but I'm putting a lot more tension on it than I had when I had it on the pulleys. I think 42 is what we're going to go with. So now I got my 3 belt dimensions, hopefully. So I'm going to order those 3 belts, actually 4 belts, 2 the same size here, and then this one, and then the big one.